Yeah, man. The last event that we had was Lee versus Oliveira fight night in Brasilia. You know how long ago that was?
Oh, tell me.
Uh, a month and a half. Seems
Whoa,
like a
dude, it
fucking
feels like
goddamn year.
forever.
It feels like the whole year. When you're like a UFC MMA fanatic like us, like a month and a half is a long motherfucking time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and um, I mean we're 6 days, we're about 7 days away from UFC 249, and I feel like the feelings in the air, like nobody really wants to get too excited for it, obviously, right?
Yeah.
And just we're either going to get a fucking four card bonanza, or we're gonna just be pretty much just get to this point all over again.
Yeah.
So it's either gonna be really exciting or it's gonna be really sad. But I, for one, am I'm a little torn. I'm a little conflicted about this event happening in general. Like my head says like, yeah, there's no way people should be fighting right now. Like this is not safe and this is not like cool. But in my heart, you know, I'm foaming at the mouth and I can't fucking wait because as betters, this is another opportunity finally, for us to play something, and we've been bored at home with no sports, no NBA, no nothing, So
Yeah.
I'm excited that it's back, but I'm a little conflicted about it being on. So I mean,
I
how
don't
you
have
feeling
any
about that?
reservations, man. I'm like, let's
No
go.
reservations.
No,
Yeah,
let's
let's
go.
fucking go, bro. Just fucking go. Just bleed, man. But yeah, I mean, I think the sentiments are kind of around everywhere as far as like this is different. This is the feeling is different leading up to this card because in the back of our minds, like we still don't know whether some shit might pop off. Like Mickey Mouse might come through and just be like, cut the cord. But I think this part is gonna go through. I think this is actually gonna happen. Um, but yeah, I haven't really looked up, tape watch. Haven't really like thought too deeply into these matchups.
Yeah,
So I feel like I mean I feel like everybody kind of feels the same way about this. It's just they threw all these really good matchups together, and but they didn't really have much time to really hype it up, or there
exactly.
wasn't really
Yeah.
much thought behind like putting these fights together. They're just putting it together because this is what's available. So it's a weird feeling. It's a weird time.
But
Um,
like, I totally agree. Like, I don't feel as hyped as I normally do. But then, like, if I actually sit down and look at the matchups, I'm like, this is an awesome card. Like, if this
yeah,
wasn't just a normal card, like, without anything to do with the virus, like, this, I would be so jacked. Like, this is a great lineup.
yeah. And I mean, and it looks entertaining. Not only just like on paper, it looks pretty damn entertaining too. Like you got some bangers here too, and we know it's gonna be exciting. It's just that, yeah, I just don't feel like we've had enough time to kind of like build up a storyline with everything happening, and
Yeah, true, true,
but
true.
this should be fun for people, for folks who are at home, unable to kind of do much. And this should be some entertainment for everybody who hasn't had any sports to watch in a long time. And even for us, like we can't even go to the basketball courts and shoot some hoops because obviously everything's closed. So it's like really difficult. So um,
It's also a good opportunity for UFC, right? Because you're going to have a lot of people's eyeballs on this event that normally would maybe not be watching UFC, right? Like people are going to be starved for entertainment. So
I know I'm starved. Fuck. But yeah, come Friday once everybody weighs in, then I'll probably start foaming at the mouth and doing my usual routine of you know, being a being a diehard fan.
oh, dude, when
Uh,
this if the event really happens, like when okay, put it this way, when that first fight starts and it's like, okay, this is happening, I'll go from 0 to 100. I'll be
yeah,
super jacked because when you look at the main card, like there's not a single fight on the main card that I want to miss. Like I'm watching every single one of those, not missing any of them. They're awesome. Not counting like Esparza and Watterson, but like after that, it's all money. Like the whole card is money for real.
you just pissed off a bunch of WMMA lovers.
I mean, And honestly,
But
as far as girl fights go, that's not that bad of a fight actually.
no, actually, it isn't. I mean, like the reason why I say it is because I actually have a lean on that one. But I'll probably get to that. But yeah, shit. Why don't I just kind of get into it and I'll kind of give you my thoughts on what I see.
All right.
Just initial thoughts. It could change, but you know, you know what? Also, even before I say anything, like I wonder how training has been for everybody because like
True.
I can't. Nunez is supposed to be on his card, right? And Amanda Nunez versus some girl. She was supposed to be on his card, but she didn't have a full camp leading into this, so it's like she
Yeah.
pulled out of the fight. And so I can't imagine a lot of these guys having like ideal camps. So you don't even know whether they're gonna show up like how and perform like they usually do. And I'm 100% sure a lot of these guys don't have like an ideal training camp,
Or
and like
maybe not ideal, but like just not normal. Like they're probably going to have to train at home with like one or two other people, and that's it.
yeah,
Like, it'll be weird. Like, yeah, that's a huge question mark for this event.
yeah, huge question mark. So there might be some variance here. Like some guys might underperform, and uh, and you're like, what the fuck? I bet money on this guy or something, and he's not fighting like he used to. Like, well, it's a weird time.
I think
And
especially for younger fighters, like somebody like Fabricio Verdum, Donald Cerrone, like those guys know what it takes. Like they've fought so many fights, like they know the game. You know what I mean? But like maybe for some other like one of the earlier fighters like Rosa and Mitchell, like two young guys, like they might, you know what I mean? Like you're sitting at home, you're drinking beers, like who knows where their heads at, right?
right, so maybe we might need a social media team to kind of help us cap some of these fights too. Just make sure like these guys are on point. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I might we have to do that. But speaking of Donald Cerrone, like let's talk about him. Like this guy is, I, I can't imagine the type of person he is. I don't think after he lost his last fight with Connor, that was back in what January, mid January. I can't imagine him like, all right, I lost this fight. I'm gonna get back into the gym and go straight to work. Like I think he probably took some time off. He probably had some beers and wasn't training and stuff like that. So I can't. I don't like I understand what you're saying. Like he's a veteran. He probably he knows what he's doing and stuff like that. But I can't imagine him being super motivated at this point in his career to have just gotten straight back into the gym after that that Connor thing.
Yeah.
So he's probably just coming off the couch, to be honest with you. That's what
You think so?
my speculation is. I think he's just in this fight he's just going to be coming off the couch, and I don't think he.
Because you're just saying because of the trajectory of his career, like McGregor was the
Yeah,
money fight, he got his ass
that's
beat.
speculation on my part.
Hear
It's not a
you, I
fact.
hear you. And now it's like he's coming to fight Pettis. It's like Pettis has a name, but like he just got finished fighting Ferguson, Gaethje, and McGregor, like three biggest names in the sport,
Yeah,
arguably. And now he's
he went
fighting.
through a meat grinder.
Yeah, and like I hear you. That's an interesting point, And he's 37. He's not winning the fucking belt. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I hear you, man. That's a good
yeah.
point.
So he fought mid January, like I mentioned. That's been 2, 3, 4 months. I guess it's 4 months is not too bad, but 4 months ago he got knocked out. He even said recently on an interview, I'm not sure if you saw it, like he said saying that he wasn't like he felt like he wasn't there for the fight or something, like he wasn't mentally there, he
Yeah,
wasn't hyped. And then the dude asked him like, oh, when did you know? Like, oh, 2 days ago, like 2 days before the fight, he felt like he wasn't in it,
yeah.
and like I don't think his heart is in fighting anymore. Obviously, like
That's
he's
what I was just
37
gonna
now.
say. I was just about to say like it might not just be the McGregor fight. The last few fights, I felt like I think even leading up to the Gaethje fight, like his mentality is just like, yeah, man, win or lose, like it's all good, bro. Like it's like that's not what I want to hear from a fighter. Like you want to hear like I'm gonna go in there and kill that guy. That kind of, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like that fight. I don't know if his personality is like a true fighter. Like he's a little too easygoing, too friendly. You know what I mean?
yeah, and I can't imagine with this long with the layoff with everybody, being stuck at home. I can't imagine him not like cracking open a few beers and just chilling with his kid.
It's like maybe like yeah, it's hard to know because how much
It's hard
the
to know.
our attitude, like the way we are, right? Like everybody's sitting at home drinking, just fucking off. You know,
Yeah, and
you know,
eating and
the
shit.
fighters are the
You
same
know,
way. If they're just sitting at home playing video games, drinking, playing around, it's like their head is not. You know what I mean? Their head's not there right now. That's a
right?
good point, man. I don't know.
Yeah, and then like going to the gym and showing up, every single day to train, like, and then you see your comrades, like in the gym, like busting their ass, and that's infectious.
For
It kind of
sure,
goes
for sure,
around, but some of these guys being unable to really like go to the gym and kind of feel the grind. Like some guys might just kind of you know take the foot off the pedal just a little bit,
for
and you
sure.
never really know. So it's gonna be really hard to cap this entire card without knowing, like some guys, there might be some variance. You really fucking don't know.
And that's where I think it's gonna come down to knowing like the fighters a little bit better, like to know them, like what are they made of, you know? Like
Yeah,
Bryce Mitchell, that kid is blood and guts. Like he doesn't care. He's coming
yeah, he's
from
a
like
young dude.
he's
He's
coming from
gonna
the
he's gonna train.
streets. You know what I mean? I don't mean the streets. I just mean like he's coming from like grassroots level. Like that kid is not going to be slacking off. Like I guarantee you, Bryce. It doesn't matter. He can be training out of his garage. That kid's coming to win for sure.
Yeah, and then like on another note, I remember reading. No, I watched a video on Justin Gaethje talking about like they announced this fight uh without him knowing. So he found out through social media that he was actually fighting on May 9th.
Oh, really?
And
Gee.
yeah, he didn't even know. Like they didn't even like let him know. So that's how he found out. So he was kind of upset because he said that like like yeah, he accepted the fight back in April, but ever since, but since they had canceled it, like he went and got himself a pizza or some shit like that. I don't know. Watch the video. It's on like Fox channel, the Fox.
You think you would double check with your headliner
My
before you announce
ESPN.
an
I mean,
event, right? Like he's headlining the event.
like, hey, that's UFC for your ass. They run their business like fucking Mickey Mouse. It's like it's a fucking circus. It's a fucking child's play with what it is.
Okay, so we're talking about fighters' mindsets. What do you think about Dominic Cruz? That's one person I was just watching some
Dom,
highlights, and I was wondering like, where's his head at? You know?
we know what Dom's been doing. Like he's been trying to get back into fighting shape for a long time. So he's one of the guys that I probably I don't have really have any doubts as far as like his motivation and stuff. So yeah, I think he should be pretty much good to go. I think Henry Cejudo, we know he's going to be good to go as well.
Oh, Cejudo for
Um,
sure, for sure,
yeah,
no doubt. Cejudo, he's coming
Ferguson.
to win.
Yeah, Ferguson. We know what Ferguson is made of. This guy is a different type of fucking animal.
Okay, dude,
He's a weird motherfucker.
you must have seen in the news when Ferguson cut weight for the fight that got canceled? That was probably one of the most amazing out of octagon things I've ever seen. Like that was
Yeah,
fucking so awesome.
I can't. A lot of people were praising him. Like they had David Goggins, that hardcore Marine dude. Like
Yeah,
he was praising him and everything too, and everybody else was praising. I think this guy's a fuck. I think he's a beast. He's a fucking machine, and like this guy's got Wolverine level
yeah,
recovery. But at the same time, like I wondered like if this guy's like a fucking genius or this guy's a fucking like an idiot that doesn't know what the fuck he's doing.
yeah.
Cause like I feel like what if that fucking weight cut, like what this guy's doing weight cuts just to fucking prove a point, and man, that was only like a month ago, and you're gonna wait, you're gonna cut more weight again, it's
Yeah.
who
I'm not
knows
saying
how your
it's
body's gonna affect it by that
yeah, I'm not saying
at his
it's
age.
smart, you know. I'm not saying it's a smart move. I'm
Yeah,
just saying it's such a gangster like flex.
yeah,
Like,
no,
he's just
that's
flexing on
exactly what
Justin
it is.
Gaethje right now.
Yeah, that is exactly what it is. Yeah, so yeah, that's Ferguson for your ass. But let's take a quick half step back and just kind of talk about this card. Like, let's just pretend it is happening, which we know is probably gonna happen. But fucking Justin Gaethje versus Tony Ferguson. We know the timeline behind this. Like everybody wanted to see Khabib versus Tony Ferguson. Five? No, was it 5 times? Yes, five fucking times. No, was it 5 or 6?
I'm not sure. It can't be six. Must be five.
It's two. Yes, yes. So it's 5 times that they tried to schedule this fight. You know, it's the most anticipated fight in MMA currently right now. Like one of them at least. Everybody wants to see this. Casuals want to see this fight, and yet again, we have a fucking pandemic that canceled it. So the sixth time they announced it probably gonna be a meteorite hitting Earth or something. Or I don't know what's gonna happen, but something stupid is gonna happen. But that's where we're standing at now. That's how we got Justin Gaethje. Um, like this matchup probably like on a if on a regular basis probably shouldn't have happened yet because I feel like Ferguson he should have fought for the title like many fights ago, and yet we're here, and I feel bad for Tony Ferguson having to fight a dangerous guy like Justin Gaethje, and put himself at risk of not being able to fight for the title, against Khabib, which is fucking bullshit. But it is what it fucking is. I feel like it sounds like he's cool about it. He's gonna take the fight. He respects Gaethje as a competitor and all that stuff. And on like storyline aside, or being deserving aside, this is a fucking violent fucking fight, and people are in for a treat. Like if you're casual, like kind of tuning in, and you're not really sure who the two guys are, and you're just gonna be like, okay, these two guys are gonna fight. I want to see some entertainment. These two guys are gonna fucking entertain, and this has, man, I don't want to jinx it, but this has zero chance of being a fucking boring fight.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. The thing is, you can't jinx Justin Gaethje because he does what he
Nope.
does. He's not going to change what he does. He might slow down a bit. He might be a bit more strategic, but he's fucking John Lineker, 2.0. Like he's going to swing. He's going to move forward.
Yep. So, this is gonna be a fucking entertaining fight. This is gonna be a bloody fight. I think Gaethje has what 5 fights in the UFC. Or let me see here. He's got one, two, three, four, five, six, like from 6 fights. I think 6 fights in the UFC so far, and all 6 of them he's won fight of the night or performance of the night. He's won an award in every single one of his fights. So that alone should tell you how fucking exciting like he is. And I feel like Gaethje. I mean, he's not really known to the casual community yet. Especially with his last name. Like nobody knows how to spell his last name. So
Yeah,
or nobody knows how to even pronounce it.
yeah,
So like to the person that's scrolling through their social media and who's a casual fan of the UFC to see, oh, Tony Ferguson fighting a guy named Justin,
yeah.
like
I hear
what
you.
what is this dude's name?
Yeah, I hear you.
Unfortunately, that I think that's kind of holds Justin Gaethje back from being like a household name. Um, but his style kind of really speaks for itself. So that's really how I think he's going to be put on the map on this fight while everybody's in quarantine. So exciting fighter. It's going to be a war. It's going to be very violent, and man, I'm all for it.
Oh yeah, man. I mean that honestly, like you were talking about the matchup with Khabib. I kind of like this better as a fight. I think it's more interesting.
Yeah, yeah. As an entertainment value,
Yeah,
this is way more entertaining. Against Khabib, this is going to be one of those things where like you kind of want to see the two of the best go at it. So
yeah,
it could end up being boring. What if Khabib ends up containing Ferguson and holding him, kind of do a fight like that. You never know, really know. But this fight is like guaranteed fireworks. So yeah, on paper, this is. I mean, like entertainment wise, this is gonna be the better fight. But impactful wise, Khabib was the one that was gonna be a good fight.
yeah.
Yeah, and then the return of Dominic Cruz again. This another fight that's gonna be like under circumstances where Henry Cejudo. He's got a couple of challengers at his weight class. He's got Sterling. He's got Aljamain Sterling. He has Marlon Moraes. He has who else is in that division? Peter Yan. So just a handful of guys at the division that are like chomping at the bit or knocking on the doors of a title shot. But Henry Cejudo goes and chooses Jose Aldo to fight, who's coming off a loss against Marlon Moraes. And I don't blame Cejudo. I mean, he wants the name on his resume.
Yeah, yeah. He's
Um,
trying to put a stamp on his career for sure.
yeah. I mean, you can't blame the guy, but at the same time, like, there's no merit in Aldo getting the title shot, and then Dominic Cruz slides in, who's also coming off of a loss and a title fight, and hasn't been fighting for years, but he's one of the greats of the bantamweight division, so I'm not mad at it. They're both. I mean, Dominic Cruz is very deserving, but I mean, like he's up there, but obviously he's not. He hasn't built any momentum to really kind of lead up to this fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like we know Ferguson and Gaethje is a good fight. We know Dominic Cruz and Henry Cejudo is a good fight, but I feel like both these fights are just due to circumstances
yeah.
is how it got put together.
Yeah, Cruz is kind of coming out of nowhere, right? He's coming out of like being an announcer, being injured forever, and now he's back on the
Yeah,
scene. So, I mean, he's a huge name though. Like Cruz is massive. Like I'm excited to just see him in there. Like I just want to see what happens. It's hard.
yeah,
It's
and
hard to bet because like he just has been so inactive. But I'm pumped to see him in there. Like,
yeah,
and he's
he's
he's not getting a warm up fight either. Like he's getting in there against somebody who's crushing everybody right now. Like he, there's no time for ring rust in this fight.
yeah, and with Dominic Cruz, uh, he he's been in the UFC for a very, very long time, and yet he and Henry Cejudo is only 1 year apart.
Yeah, I was just looking at that because Dominic Cruz seems so old.
He's
It's just
34.
because we've been hearing about him for so long. Like he's been,
Yeah, we've been watching him for a long time.
yeah. So he seemed. I was like, oh, Dominic Cruz is old, and then I checked their ages, and I was like, they're like almost the same age. So that's interesting.
Yeah, obviously Dominic Cruz was the bantamweight champion in the WC, but he made his debut in the UFC in 2011 after the merger, and since then, his last fight, the last time he competed was in 2016. So total fights, he's only had 6 fights in a 9 year stretch.
Yeah, that's not many
That's crazy.
fights. Yeah,
And his record is 22-2. That's a really good record.
yeah.
Yeah, like only losing to Faber and Garbrandt, and so it's fucking crazy. And Cejudo is only 33, so Cejudo's younger, only by 1 year, and it just seems like you know just Cruz has been around for forever. But his style was definitely ahead of his time. So I feel like in today's game, like I don't feel like Dominic Cruz is behind as far as like like meta games, like strategy wise,
No, yeah,
So
I agree. He knows what's going on in the sport. Yeah, like it's not like
yeah,
he was doing
he's an
something
intellectual
totally
fighter.
else, right? Like it's not like he was a realtor or something. Like he's been around the game.
Yeah, super duper intellectual fighter. Obviously he's an announcer, and so yeah, I feel like his style has finally caught up with everybody. No, everybody has finally kind of caught up with Dominic Cruz's style. Back in the day, he was all about footwork and things like that. So um, yeah, I hope hopefully it doesn't come with some ring rust, and hopefully it ends up being a really good fight because this is a really good fight.
Yeah, you know what's funny? These are both two guys that beat Demetrius Johnson. Not very many people have beat Demetrius Johnson.
Yeah, no, exactly right, and Cejudo barely kind of scraped by, Mighty Mouse. So just because he has a win over him doesn't mean he's any better than him,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was super close.
because it was a really close fight. So I wish Mighty Mouse. I mean, Demetrius Johnson was still in the game. Like I wish he was still in the UFC
Dude,
because
you know what's crazy? I'm looking at his share dog right now, Mighty Mouse. He has
yeah,
a fight like at the end of the month in Manila, Philippines, in One Championship.
that's crazy.
He's fighting like some guy that like I've never heard of, Adriano
Some
Moraes.
young guy.
Some young guy. No,
Was that his name? Some young guy.
no, his name's Adriano Moraes. But I'm just saying, like, it's kind of crazy for Mighty Mouse to bail on UFC because now
Yeah.
he's even if he fights, like, he's not going to get any coverage or any hype. Like, he's just going to disappear. Like, his name will disappear, kind of.
Hmm.
That's the thing. UFC gives you so much. Like, it gives you a really big platform.
It sure is, and I'm sad to see him go. But he put his foot down, and he doesn't want to like. It is what it is. The fans for some reason don't like him. The company doesn't like treat him with respect. So
Yeah.
he's not gonna take it. So I understand where he's coming from, but cut me in as a fan. So it is what it is.
Okay, here's what's crazy, dude. If that guy weighed like 50 pounds more, he'd be a huge superstar. It's just because he's small. That's why. It's not his fault.
Yeah,
Great fighter.
yeah. So let me just kind of run some stats off real quick, just to kind of hype the Ferguson and Gaethje fight again. Uh, Ferguson is on a 12 fight winning streak since 2013. So he's undefeated, hasn't lost in 7 years. He's on a 12 fight winning streak. That's unheard of. And he was supposed to face against Khabib, who is on another ridiculous. He's never even lost in his career, which is unprecedented in MMA. I think Khabib was on a similar win streak as well, like that 12 fight win streak as well, right?
Khabib?
Yeah, like
Khabib's never lost.
yeah, he's never lost, but like as far as the UFC like
Oh, like a
record goes,
UFC
like
win streak. Oh, I'd have to
let's see
see.
what
Yeah,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They're both on 12 fight winning
oh,
streaks,
dude, somebody's gonna
and
get.
they're both going to face each other.
Oh man,
Oh man.
that's what I'm saying though. Like, as much as that's a great fight, like if Tony loses to Justin, it kills some of the
Oh
it kills some
man.
of the hype on even if Tony fights Khabib, it's still a good fight, but it kills some of the hype. You know what I mean? Then
Yeah,
it's like
we're
Tony's not
like
on that win streak anymore.
yeah, exactly. Like two undefeated. I mean, two 12 fight winning streaks
Like
going up
that's
against each
insane.
other. So Gaethje's here to play spoiler, and he's definitely live too.
Oh, super live,
So
especially in the first two rounds.
yeah, the first 2 rounds. If Gaethje doesn't put a stamp on this fight in the first 2 rounds, Ferguson is gonna do what Ferguson does, and he's gonna be the boogeyman. He's gonna start picking at you, and you're not gonna keep up with his pace.
Yeah,
And we've seen Gaethje get outpaced
exactly,
before against guys that he couldn't put away.
exactly.
So yeah, oh my, it's gonna be a bloody fight. I can't wait.
Dude,
And then
talking about this is getting me hyped, dude. I'm getting hyped up
let's go,
now.
let's go. I mean, that's the point of this podcast, right? I'm trying to get everybody hyped.
Yeah,
As a fan, I want to hype it up. I want to support the UFC. I want to give fighters a platform. I definitely want to push the sport a little further. But as a bettor, I just want to make some money. I want to have some action. I'm trying to get some, trying to crack the bookies. That's what I'm trying
I
to
hear
do.
you, man.
Yeah, and shit, we've got 4 more opportunities to play some this year to try to catch up with all those weeks that we missed. So in the next 14 days, they're gonna have like 4 events apparently. So hopefully all of them come through. So us guys stuck at home, we could have something to bet on or something to watch.
Yeah, yeah, man. Let's
Yeah.
get it happening.
So yeah. So we won't be breaking down. I mean, I don't plan on breaking down the odds on this podcast. Just because I feel like maybe give it a couple of days. Kind of get let a couple of interviews come out, let a couple of headlines come out, let a couple, just kind of let things kind of sink in, making sure that everything's actually going to happen. Everybody's traveled to their spot, everybody's cutting weight and all that stuff, and so we can kind of get a like inside perspective on what the fuck these guys have been doing for the last couple of weeks
Yeah,
since all this virus stuff happened, and we anything kind of raises any red flags, and we'll go through that with the podcast where we break down the bets and stuff like that. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of powwow and kind of talk about this and maybe post something on it on the channel just to maybe give some people to give some people to something to listen to or for us to just kind of talk about it so we can prepare ourselves to play some you know make some money or something
yeah, I hear you,
bet
man.
some fights and enjoy ourselves.
Yeah, yeah, man. I already got
Yeah,
I got
so
a few lines that I'm eyeing that I'm interested in.
you're Ryan, very good. I too have some lines that I'm interested in as well. Now there are a couple dogs too. I feel like I'm gonna go and put some money on Jairzinho Rosenstruck.
Yeah,
However, I'm not saying he's gonna win. This is a goddamn heavyweight fight. Uh, so anything can really happen. But at that price, he's like 240 or something like that. Like if you're gonna get a heavyweight fight where like two guys at the top of the game at that price, like you gotta that's an automatic.
I
Like
agree.
that's no hezzy. That's a no
No
hezzy.
hesi.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Here's what you have to think about. Here's what you have to think about. Can Nagano eat like a clean 1-2 from Rosenstruck, or even just like a one?
I
Can he eat a hard one to the chin? I don't think anybody can. Like if you know what I'm saying, they just like that's why they always say you bet underdogs in heavyweight fights because they're just both big boys. Like if somebody connects, it's the Knights probably, right?
Yeah, and it could go for the other way around too.
Oh,
Like, what if
absolutely.
Jairzinho slips on a fucking banana peel, Francis gets on top, grabs his fucking arm, and yanks that bitch,
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So that shit can happen. Like, this is heavyweight we're talking about. Like, anything can happen in heavyweight fights.
yeah,
So
that's a fun fight.
if that's the case, like, you're gonna make me choose. I'm gonna play the odds, and that's where the odds are looking at. So the odds were even, I might give it a second thought and be like, okay, I don't know yet, But at that price, that's kind of it's a principle for me to actually play that line. Not just out of value, but actually, like I actually think that Rosenstruck is a pretty good matchup for this guy, and I mean for Ngannou, and so yeah, I'm gonna take my chances definitely.
I think Ngannou a little like he's a little hyped up, like because the way he KO'd Overeem,
Hmm.
and because it just has his physique, he has that physique that you're like, holy, like man, this guy looks like
That's a scary
he
motherfucker. I
came out
ran
of a
into him
lab,
actually
right?
one
Like
time.
Rosenstruck doesn't have that physique, but I don't believe that it translates into being more dangerous. Like you just look more muscular, you look great, but I don't think that translates to being that much more dangerous when you're in a fight. But we'll see.
Yeah. Funny story. I actually ran into Ngannou in Vegas before.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So there's this bar called Scooter's Bar. It sounds kind of goofy, but it's like at the beginning of the strip
Okay.
or something like that. And they actually show UFC over there with like little to no cover. So me and my homeboy, we pull up. We're getting ready to watch the fight, and I went to the bathroom, and as I was taking a
He
piss,
just uncoils, man. He must.
no, 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 I went to no. As I'm taking a piss at the stall, and for some reason you feel it. I feel some giant being walking through the door, like in the behind me. I didn't see anything, but I just felt like some huge, giant something entered the bathroom that was really a really big like being, and I turned around now that and I'm like washing my hands like wait a minute, this guy looks familiar. That's fucking Ngannou. I was like, hey, what's up, Ngannou? And he looks at me, and he just I don't know. It was just random. Like I don't like to say what's up people in the bathroom, but like, hey, I know this guy.
It's like a weird spot. You're like, hey,
Yeah, but this is big motherfucker that walks through the door,
dude, that's
So
awesome, bro.
yeah, yeah, and
That's
I'm here to
super
watch
sick.
the fight, so it's just super duper random. But yeah, he seems like a hard ass.
But
he didn't want to say what's up,
he
but
didn't want to
whatever,
chill. He didn't want to talk. He was like,
Yeah, I mean, I didn't. I tried to approach him to talk, have a conversation. I was kind of nodding my head, like, "What's up, bro?
you're
I
like
know who you are.
respect,
Like,
bro.
I know you, and I know you know that I know who you are.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, what's up, bro? Like,
yeah,
I'm gonna wash my hands and get on my way. I wasn't
yeah.
there to talk with the dude, but yeah,
That that
it was a funny. It
that's the
was
thing.
random, just
Vegas,
random.
you can see so many like famous people in Vegas, and that's usually what I do too. Is I'm just like, you give him props, like, yo, what's up? I know you're famous shit, respect, and like keep walking. Like,
Uh, yeah,
I'm not trying to like
yeah.
fucking
Unless we're
stop
actually
for a
sitting around like
picture or
talking and
whatever.
stuff, like we'll chop it up.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel it. I feel it there. Yeah. But yeah, this card, like, you know what? I'm gonna start griping about some things now. So yeah, I understand that this card that's kind of been put together just as a super card, just the quarantine card, But like, what the fuck is fucking Jacare and Vicente Luke, versus their respective opponents, like below Watterson and Esparza? Like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
But it
I
is
don't
big.
know, dude.
I get it.
You know what I think it might be? I think it might be like they don't want to make the prelims shit. If the prelims are shit, like they have to make some good fights in there to like mix it up. So people are like, oh yeah, I want more of this, right? Like if you give people four really crappy fights, people aren't going to buy the pay per view because are the early prelims free on TV or whatever?
Um, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so that's my take on it. I think they're trying to mix it up a little bit with the prelims. You know what I mean? Get people's attention.
Yeah, well, it's kind of sad. I feel like it's some prestige. I mean, like Jacare is a high level fighter, and he's like a fourth fighter up. So it's sad, but it is what it is. Like uh, it's gonna be exciting early on. So
Yeah, no, I'm pumped for that fight. How do you think that
yeah,
fight goes? Uriah Hall, Jacare.
he's I mean, Jacare is a little old. He's been showing it.
Yeah,
But if Jacare shows up as like the Jacare that we know, I feel like he's just gonna get Uriah Hall down, at points in this fight. But I mean, I would not be surprised if Uriah Hall hits him with some spinning back kick to the face and puts him out, or he's able to kind of jab his face off or something like that, depending on how far off Jacare has fell. But no, I think Jacare is gonna get in on the hips and kind of like pull him away from the cage and do his thing. But the third round, if it does get to the third round, if Uriah Hall survives and doesn't get tapped out by then, I think the third round might go to Uriah Hall. He's gonna start jabbing his face off, and it'll be a tricky, tricky fight. So it could end up being a split decision on either guy, or Jacare, could actually just win the fight by getting takedowns and possibly getting a sub.
I totally agree with what you're saying. Like,
Yeah.
if you look at how Gegard Mousasi beat up Hall in their second fight, I mean, it was like effortless. Like he got him to the ground,
Yeah, he took him
subbed him,
down.
game over, or doesn't sub, but with punches, like he just manhandled him so easily. So if Jacare can do that, sure. But like exactly what you say, if you get to the third round, man, I don't want to see a tired Jacare standing in front of a Hall. Like,
Yeah, it's a bad look.
that'd be scary. Not just a bad look, but he could get destroyed. Like he could get put away. So fun fight though.
Mm-hmm.
Super pumped for that fight.
Let's talk about this. Verdum versus Alexei Olenek. Like this is a pretty cool matchup because these heavyweights are not known for jiu-jitsu. A lot of them are or submissions. A lot of them are known for knockouts.
Yeah,
The heavyweights for a reason, right? But these two guys, they're both 42 years old and they've never faced each other. And finally, they're facing each other and they're both like jiu-jitsu guys. So it's gonna be a interesting one. And Verdum's been out for a little while due to USADA stuff. I'm not too detailed on what happened. But two submission guys, which is going to be very interesting.
yeah. I mean, yeah, Olenek is just awesome for having two Ezekiel chokes in the UFC. Like, I don't, does
Yeah,
anybody else even have an Ezekiel choke in the UFC? I don't even think so.
I don't think so.
But
No.
like, well, that's what I'm saying. But that's kind of like a novelty choke. Like, he catches people sleeping. Like, they don't
Yeah,
know it's coming. Like, if,
unassuming
yeah, like
shit.
you're on bottom, like, who chokes from the bottom? But
Yeah,
I think
if he tries that shit again,
especially Fabrizio Verdum, like, Fabrizio Verdum is super tricky. Like, he always starts with crazy kicks or like, you know what I mean?
yeah,
He's all about being tricky. So he not going to get caught in Ezekiel. Like, he knows
no, definitely
this
not.
guy's game. And like they're both so savvy with jujitsu. I feel like Olenek's jujitsu is like he catches guys sleeping on him a little bit. Like,
He almost seems like a catch wrestler,
yeah, he totally like.
like
But
submission first before position.
yeah,
That
yeah,
type of guy.
yeah. But like Verdum, he's going to be savvy to all that. So I think it's going to be mostly a stand up fight. That's just my guess.
Yeah, yeah. It'll be interesting how Linux approaches it because he does things that most people don't do, which he gets away with at heavyweight. But some of the stuff that he does, he's not going to get away with Verdum. So
No,
kind of interested in seeing what his approach is to the fight. Yeah,
yeah, it's going to be a fun fight for
yeah.
sure.
And here's another matchup that I think people will remember. You got Anthony Pettis versus Donald Cerrone, who both guys are pretty much kind of torn down a little bit, or have seen better days. But I think this is a very appropriate matchup just because both of them are like kind of WEC OGs.
Yeah,
And it's a good matchup because I don't want to see Donald Cerrone get just obliterated by these guys anymore. Like these guys should be fighting guys in their own bracket. Like maybe some veterans here and there, or maybe help them get some signature. I mean, get some wins over some lower level dudes or something. But you don't want to put these guys up against guys that are just gonna just take them out. They
yeah,
still have some name value. So
I agree.
um
Yeah, it's a
yeah.
good
So
fight.
who do you think is more beat? Like who do you think is more like worn
Oh,
out?
I think Cerrone. Yeah, I think so. I think Pettis, like he still fucking hates losing. Like Pettis is still coming to win. Like he's super proud. And like yeah, he's got like you said, these are both kind of like B level guys. I hate to call them B level, but like they're guys that like they were really great and now they're a little bit depleted or a little older, a
And worn out.
little wear.
Worn out.
But like
They've been fighting for a little too long. It's the wear
yeah,
and tear of the body.
they both have tons of L's on their records, but then when you go and look at the guys that they lost to, they're all like fucking really good guys. Like Pettis lost to Ferguson, Poirier, Holloway, Barboza, Nate Diaz. Like none of those guys are slouches, you know. So yeah, no, I feel like Pettis' head is more in the game, and I think he just still really wants it. Like I think he really wants to win. Whereas I think Cerrone, he's kind of
Fighting for a paycheck.
yeah, I think his heart is at the ranch with the guys, and like that's what he wants to do, driving a speedboat. Like, yeah, I don't think his heart is in this. Like, I want to fucking win fights. I think he's riding off into the sunset. You know, it's like as long as his name still has some recognition, he's going to keep showing up and keep getting paid.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, Very good career. Very exciting fighter, but he's 37 now, and he's having his first kid. So he went on a pretty good run being a father of Cerrone. He went on a 3-0 run, and then ran into Tony, who took his soul. Ran into Gaethje, who further took his soul, and then ran into Connor, who knocked his block off. So I mean, I can't imagine him like being motivated enough to like be the same Cerrone that we've seen all these years. So,
Yeah,
um, Anthony Pettis is only 33.
yeah, he's not that old exactly.
Yeah, it almost seems like he's like almost the same age, like 36, 37, but he's actually only 33. But he's had a ton of injuries and a fallout as well. So, yeah, interesting fight. I'm gonna lean on Anthony as well. He already put him out the first time, so I can't imagine Donald being any better than that version. That younger version at this point of his career. So, yeah,
I think
it is what
I
it
think
is.
also like Pettis knocking out Thompson, like Wonder Boy, I think that was like a kind of a huge
Mm-hmm.
like resurgence for him. Yeah, like he's had two L's after that, but like for him to beat Thompson was like, oh, okay, this, like, you know what I mean? I think that was big for his confidence. Like he wasn't just out there getting his ass beat all the time.
Right. Yeah, and this one is the prelim, the ESPN main event, and then the pay-per-view starts off with Greg Hardy and then Jorgen De Castro, and so on. Jeremy Stevens, Calvin Kattar, Francis Ngannou versus Jairzinho Rosenstruck, and then you got the two main events as aforementioned. But yeah, should be a should be a good one. And I'm I mean, do you? I mean, yeah. I mean, we can break it down, but I guess we'll just save that for for the later on this week. We'll drop another a breakdown this Thursday or Friday. We'll drop a breakdown, and we'll kind of go into detail of how we see ability matching up. But yeah, I just wanted to figure out figure out what we're actually preparing for as far as this card goes.
Yeah, man, sounds good.
Yeah. What about um what about Calvin Cater and Jeremy Stevens?
I don't know. I feel like everybody sees it the same way. Like everybody thinks Cater's
It's gonna be a
better,
stand up
right?
fight.
Like everybody thinks Cater has cleaner boxing and Steven doesn't have much for him, which I kind of agree with. Like Cater's better, kind of like not, I don't want to say better, but like he has cleaner boxing and he is faster. He's more technical. Stevens is a bit of a like swing for the fences guy, but like Stevens doesn't suck. It's like if he hits him once, he can finish the fight. Like if I was betting on Cater as a steep favorite, I'd be scared because like Stevens is legit, dude.
Yeah, it's gonna be a stand up fight, so
Yeah,
I see them going after it. So
like all he has to do is
yeah,
connect with one hook to the chin, and the fight is going to be over.
he's a big puncher, but he ain't a boxer.
Yeah,
He's more of a and Calvin Cater is more of a boxer than a puncher. So I think the boxer comes out on top here. So that's just me.
Cater is just fun
But
to watch. Like his boxing is incredible.
yeah,
Like he's so man, he's is very smooth, very technical.
yep. So yeah, man. We'll get together again with Powwow and we'll break down the fights for Friday. And anybody who's listening to this now, if you guys are interested in a breakdown, want to kind of get another perspective on betting this card, and maybe you might hear something you didn't hear before. We'll break down the card later on this week. Stay tuned for that. Just looking ahead, like I think the UFC is planning another card that coming Wednesday on the 13th with Smith and Teixeira, and then they're gonna come back again on May 16th, which is on the Saturday, with Overeem and Walt Harris, and then they're gonna come back again with I heard they're gonna do a fourth card a week after this as well, but I don't think they have announced anything yet. But yeah, we got a four card ahead of us, and shit, we haven't had UFC in about a month and a half now, so it's like about 6 8 weeks.
Yeah, so
So I guess we're all
they
gonna
got three
we're gonna
events
plan
lined up in
everything.
May. That's a lot. No,
Yeah, that's a ton.
four events lined up in May. Wow.
Yeah, it's a couple of chances for us to make some money on the side.
Yeah, they're all at ViStar Arena down in Jacksonville,
Yeah, and
Florida.
all in Florida.
So hopefully, if this first event goes off without a hitch, then hopefully that's a sign of like good things to come, and that the rest of these events work at that venue.
Yeah, well, up until until we hear from Nevada, maybe Rick might have, or I mean, Puerto Rican might have a little more information on what's going on over there. But if Nevada does lift their ban on sports, we'll be seeing fights happening at the Apex, which is in Vegas and in the Contender Series arena. So, um, which would make it things easier for everybody.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm kind of intrigued on what the heck when Fight Island is gonna happen. Fight Island.
Oh yeah, dude, that's awesome. I can't wait for that. They're supposed to have the octagon like out on the beach. Like that
Is
sounds.
it really outside?
That's what Dana said. The
No
octagon
way.
is they're going to be fighting out on the beach. It's going to be like Enter the Dragon, dude. It's going to be amazing. If that happens, bro, that will be the coolest thing
What
that ever
the
happened
fuck kind of shit is that?
in combat
Oh
sport.
man,
Can you imagine like the octagon out in the sand and then the water there and like the cameras? Like it would be insane. It would be totally insane.
it definitely would be some movie type shit.
Yeah, dude.
But I can't imagine it would be like what if you get like weather disturbance, like the sun's in your eye or some shit, or I don't know, the heat, no air conditioning or some shit. I don't know. There's a lot of logistical stuff that I don't understand how it would work.
Yeah, I
So
hear what you're saying. Like fighting outside is super. Like there's a lot of risks.
yeah, what if a bird craps in your head and you can't see your? I don't know. Fuck. I don't want to fucking know.
Dude,
Just
that'd be
use
hilarious,
that
dude.
self-defense.
Some wild birds like swarm the octagon in the middle of the fight.
Yeah, some shit. Who the heck knows? So
I'm keyed up for that. Like, really hope that happens. That's the one reason I don't want the coronavirus to stop too soon because I want to see I want to see Fight Island, dude.
yeah, Fight Island, like Mortal Kombat type shit.
Yeah, it's gonna be amazing.
Yep. So I can assume that you're gonna be home for this weekend to watch this.
Oh yeah, for sure, man.
Everybody is. I wonder if it'll do like high pay-per-views because
Yeah,
like everybody's kind
yeah,
of don't no, who has money to be blowing on UFC while nobody's working.
yeah. I think it'll do good, bro. I think people are bored, man. The people aren't making much money, maybe, but you got to think everybody's already fucking bored, dude. Like,
Yeah, they are fucking bored. Yeah, I'm gonna try to help promote this and put this on my social media too to remind everybody. Got bored, man. There's some UFC going on here, man. I know you ain't got your NBA or whatever it is, all these other sports, but you got the UFC coming up. So unless you're queasy about blood and stuff, don't watch. But if you if you want to see somebody bleed, then Tony Ferguson's the man.
dude, what's weird, dude. I am queasy about blood, but UFC never bothers me. Like, but like if I see blood in real life, I'll be like a little bit queasy, but like UFC only like the really worst fights where it's just a bloodbath, and I'm just like, oh, dude, this is gross. But like very rarely will a fight bother me. I'm just in the zone. I'm into it.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. Like I don't like seeing like nasty stuff too.
In real
Like
life, I get
blood
it.
and guts. Yeah, yeah. It's a little different when it's a competition.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you got a couple of days. Everybody at home got a couple of days to kind of watch some tape on some stuff and pump out some interviews. Hopefully, some of these guys are getting ready to travel. I'm sure everybody's getting ready to travel now, and usually fighters travel 7 days before the event, right? Usually.
Yeah,
So
about 7 days, especially because like
yeah,
elevation and all that stuff isn't a problem. So
yeah. So we'll reevaluate when all that happens, and yeah, I'll see you. Catch everybody on the end of the week, and we'll break down the fights and give out some picks, and hopefully we all make some money and re-up on the next event and the next event and the next event after that, and we'll come out this quarantine with some money.
let's do it, man.
Let's do this shit. Yeah, I'll probably try to come up with a parlay too, like a crazy fun jackpot parlay for everybody to come, and we'll all throw money on that together, and or if you want to, whatever it is, but we'll make it fun.
Sounds good, bro.
All right, stay tuned.
All right.
Yeah, that was in. That stay tuned was probably the last thing I said.
All right,
I'm gonna
cool.
say. Yep. So I don't know what the objective for this podcast was, to be honest. Like, I just wanted to record something because I'm bored.
No, I like it. I think it's
I
cool,
haven't.
actually. I think it's cool. I think it's cool. Like, I don't. It's kind of like more fun.
We're just talking.
Yeah, it's kind of fun to do a podcast. It's like just talking. It's not like the main podcast that we do is like it's fucking getting down to the nitty gritty, right? Like we're talking about, oh, this guy
Yeah,
is like plus 225, but his decision line is only this. Like we're really getting deep. It's kind of cool to just like talk about it. Like just what are your thoughts? You know, I think it's good
yeah,
because that's what podcasting
yeah,
is. People don't always want like a fucking like a university class on betting. It's
yeah,
super intense. They just want to hear some other people's thoughts on the fights. You know, I think it's cool.
yeah. Like, when are they gonna get to the main event? God damn
Yeah,
it!
but
Yes, wait. Why do you start with the prelims? God damn it! And then when you start with the main event, like, hey, you guys forgot about the prelims. I'm trying to hear the prelims.
yeah, but like
You
it's
know?
like we're just talking about honestly like what we're interested in. You know?
Yeah,
We're not going
yeah,
through
like
the fights like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're just like, oh, what do you think about this person? What do you think about that? Blah 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 blah. Like if you watch TV or you watch like UFC coverage or just whatever, just entertainment in general, like so much of it is fluff. Like they're not, you know. I think it's cool. Like it's just talking. It's cool.
yeah, definitely. And it comes off a little more organic and a little more natural. You know,
Yeah,
as we're just
agreed.
as if me and you were just standing talking about, like, we just met each other up and like talk about MMA
Yeah,
in general, and that's what we would that's how the conversation would go, like, you know.
yeah,
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, we'll break down the odds. Yeah, I don't know how I wanted to do my format, you know. So I guess it'll just be an ever changing thing, to where we kind of get like
yeah.
a good format to where we're actually pumping out content on a regular basis.
I like the idea what you said before about recording like let's say an hour 20 or whatever we do, hour and a half, and then releasing them separate. So you're releasing the prelims and then you're releasing the main card
Yeah,
separate. I think that's a
and
good
allow
idea.
people to digest things.
So that it's just too much to cut like an hour and a half, and like not very many people want to sit down and listen to us talk for an hour and a half. That's a lot.
Yeah,
So that's a good idea.
yeah, exactly. And hopefully come out with some other content as well, as far as like what do you think about, like, our social media handles, like, what kind of content should we be posting on there? Like, we should definitely like announce fights. I think that might be a good thing to do. Like, as soon as you hear, like, oh, this fighter A is fighting fighter Z, you know, post that up on the Twitter, and then we'll be known as, people who aggregate news. Like, they'll follow us just to get alerts on who's fighting and stuff. But then, we'll post our content for them to, like, hey, our podcast is dropping this Friday. Stay tuned. If you're a better, you're gonna want to listen to this one.
Yeah, I haven't done anything with Twitter, just obviously because nothing's been happening. So
Yeah,
tomorrow I'll try to remember. I'll fire up the Twitter again and on that account and you know drop this when you
yeah.
finish publishing this. I'll drop this and then start to try to yeah build some
Try to
connections.
aggregate news, just like fight announcements, things like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, then I'll try to get active on my social media for this one too. Start adding people, start DMing fighters again, and trying to get them on the show and things like that.
yeah, yeah, for sure. I think
Yeah,
getting fighters that'll be awesome.
yeah. So that'll be another aspect to the
I
thing.
always I always like end up like not a lot, but like I've chatted like a few times with like Chaz Skelly, like or I'll like make a comment and he'll reply, or I'll like something that he said, or like we've had a few interactions, and he seems he seems
Mm.
pretty chill, dude. Like I know he's not like high profile dude, but he seems pretty chill.
Yeah, just having a UFC fighter on your podcast, like, this guy must know what he's talking about.
Yeah, he seems pretty down to earth. You know who I really like just as like a person is Joe Lozon. Like he seems smart, but like really like down to earth.
Sure. Yeah, yeah,
Like he's a guy like I feel like you could even have on and like just talk to like for the whole podcast. Like he'd give his thoughts on all the fights and like I don't know, it might be too much work. Like he might not want to like talk about like the betting lines, but like
yeah,
he'd probably be down to like talk for 45 minutes and just talk about all the fights and who he thinks he's gonna win and who's good at what and like he's yeah, I like that guy. He seems super chill.
yeah. Maybe I'll DM too. I'll DM him as well.
Yeah. Especially
Start adding these
especially because
guys.
Lozon like his career is kind of tapering off, so it's like not. I don't think a lot
Yeah,
of people in the media are going to be hitting up Lozon for interviews because people probably see him as like, oh, this guy's washed up, like he's not going to fight for the
yeah,
belt. He's, you know,
yeah. So these are the type of guys that should be fighting each other. Like the Cerrones, the Pettises, the Lozans. I feel like they should be fighting each other, like, in like another bracket. Like, they're not contending for
yeah,
anything, but they're like names, veterans in the game, like name fighters that are just like give them each other, so because they're all in the same like age range
Yeah.
too.
Well, and that's what Vitor Belfort wanted. Like Vitor Belfort wanted like some type of like seniors league, basically, right? Where like older guys could fight that were
Yeah,
still good, but like weren't. I kind of understand what he's saying. Like if you're 45 and you're
that would have been
if
good.
you're 45 years old, let's say let's say you're like Lyoto Machida or Vitor Belfort, like you're still a really good fighter, you still train, but it's like you shouldn't be having to fight against like 23-year-old guys. Like
Yeah, it's
the
stupid.
recovery is like, you know what I mean? Like those 23-year-old guys can train so hard, their recovery is insane. Like it's not even fair, dude.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know why the UFC does this to BJ Penn.
Like Anderson Silva too. Anderson Silva's a great example. Like still a good fighter, but like
Yeah,
you
throw him up
you can't
against
expect you
fucking
can't expect
a
Silva
killer
to fight
gorilla.
like 25-year-old guys. Like he's gonna get destroyed. Like it's just not fair, you know. They should let those guys all do like TRT and like PEDs, man. Like dude, the UFC would
I
be
don't know about all that,
the UFC would be so exciting, dude. If they let those old guys do drugs, man. Like after you're 40, you can fucking do whatever you want. That shit would be fun, dude.
that'd be wild. Yeah, I think there's a picture somewhere that surfaced of Vitor Belfort looking kind of buff again.
Oh, I'm sure, dude. I'm sure.
Yeah, probably
As soon as
he's on the
USADA stops
acai
coming
again.
around, dude, I'm sure he's getting back on the sauce,
Yeah, that dude's been buff since he was like 18 years old.
man.
Like, just joke the fuck
But
out.
especially like TRT or whatever he's on, like whatever he's using,
TRT tour.
man, it works for him. Like it works with his body so well. Like I don't think it works the same. Anderson Silva was popped for PEDs, right? But Silva never looked amazing. Like he just always kind of looked normal. But like
Yeah,
yeah,
like a lanky
yeah.
dude.
But like when you see some of those TRT like pictures of Vitor, like he looks insane. Like he's just bulging.
Yeah, that dude is that dude's dripping in TRT sauce,
Well, like
radioactive blood and shit.
like when
Yeah,
he knocked out Luke Rockhold and like Rockhold just didn't he knock out Rockhold when he was on the sauce? I don't remember. And then like
yeah,
Luke
he did. That
Rockhold,
dude.
dude. Okay, talking about just talking as people, like what's dude Luke Rockhold's career path is insane. Like that guy had the biggest fall from grace. Like he was the best fighter ever. Like he was like in the conversation of being like one of the best guys in the division. Like and then he took some brutal losses,
Yeah, he's a weird dude too. He's like I feel like there's a character issue with him. He he's very arrogant,
man.
and I feel
So
like his
arrogant.
arrogance doesn't like in a sense. Again, I don't know him personally, but like I feel like the arrogance that he brings to fights allows him to get knocked out all the damn time.
Yeah,
Like he's like kind of. I mean, everybody calls him smug and stuff, and yeah, this guy is kind of a dick, and he's kind of awkward in a sense too. Like he seems like an awkward dude for some reason, and yeah, just like right before his last knockout, he's like, yeah, I don't get knocked out by guys like Jen, and goes and get knocked out by a guy like Jen, and like saying stupid shit like that,
you're
like
jinxing
it's
yourself.
gonna get you
Yeah,
knocked out.
yeah.
Yeah, like why would you even say that? So it's a character issue with this guy. Like he seems talented and stuff, but he just yeah he's he brings it upon himself.
I love like I love that he's getting his ass kicked though because like he is a douchebag, like he's a jerk. But like when I actually look at his skills and like some of his the way he's won some of his fights, like his top control was ridiculous. Like very good.
Yeah,
His kicks are very good.
he's
Like
a
when
yeah
he's on, he could be the champ. Like he should have been the champ. He should have beat Bisping. Like for real. Like he should have easily beat Bisping. But yeah, I just it's just one of those guys that surprises me. It's like the same as who's like Ben Askren, right?
who's his
Like Ben
name?
Askren shows up
Oh, Ben
so
Askren.
hyped, and then he just takes a few L's and he's gone. That's it. It's just like whoa, man. That's not how I thought Ben Askren's career was going to go.
Yeah, but Askren's always been kind of a clumsy fighter. Like they call him funky for a reason. Like I think his wrestling style wasn't so much.
Call him clumsy for a reason. That's funny.
No, I meant
Oh,
funky.
funky, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that was his nickname, like Funky Ben Askren, because his style was kind of funky. Like the dude was like people would get him down. Like I've seen some of his wrestling clips where guys would just get underneath him and take him down.
Yeah,
But he'd always scramble. Like he was a really masterful scrambler, and he was like a tireless scrambler as well. So he would kind of do a lot of funk rolls and get like for some reason end up on your back.
Yeah,
You know, so he wasn't always like a powerful double leg guy. He was just a really weird, funky style. And um, scrambling in MMA is a really good style to kind of get you far. But yeah, he wasn't a powerful or a buff or athletic specimen. He was
yeah, he
just
wasn't athletic. I felt like he's like what wrestling is all about. Like he just trained hard. He was like in shape, you
hmm
know, like he was always in shape. Like and he worked hard, but like I feel like he was not naturally athletic. Like if you saw him when he was like 15, like I don't know, I'm just guessing. I'm just saying like he probably didn't look that athletic. He was probably just some skinny white kid, right?
yeah, yeah, with pointy hair. Yeah,
Yeah, and I don't really know. Like, I don't really feel like he's a fighter. You know, like there's guys like Machida or Anderson Silva. Like those guys are real fighters. Like they fight. Like they train Muay Thai. They train karate. Like I love wrestling. Like I respect it a lot, but
yeah,
it's not to me. It's not martial arts. Like it's a total different philosophy.
yeah, definitely. It's a grinding
Yeah,
art.
it's all about the grind, right? And if you have enough grind, then you win. That's it. But there's more to it than
Right.
that, right? It's all kinds of aspects. But like that's what I like. I just feel like in hindsight, like yeah, but maybe Ben Askren was never really going to be successful. Like he wasn't really a martial artist. He's a guy that's like a really good wrestler that was gonna try to wrestle fighters. That's what I feel like Ben Askren was.
hmm He was a wrestler in a fighting in a fighting
Yeah,
sport,
exactly. He's not like he's never gonna front kick.
and he just got
He's
by
never
on
gonna
that.
front kick somebody to the face. He's never gonna head kick somebody. You know what I mean? Like he's never
Yeah,
gonna
he's
oblique.
just
He's
gonna
not gonna
take you down.
oblique kick you. He's not gonna elbow you. Like he doesn't do like 90% of the stuff that real martial artists do. He just wrestles. It's like okay, if you're gonna do that, you better be
Yeah,
fucking Damian Lyon. That's all I have to say.
yeah. I was looking at how I mentioned there's gonna be four cards apparently, but I was looking out on Best Fight Odds, and they actually have the odds out for a lot of these fights, and it doesn't look that great. These matchups they look kind of terrible. Like this UFC 249 is pretty stacked, and then you have a fight night on two other fight nights right after that, and like you know what fight aside, like thinking as a from a betting perspective, it looks kind of whack.
Not you're not talking about 249. You're talking about the fights after that.
Yeah, there's two cards right after that, and like they just released some odds on Best Buy
Oh,
odds,
okay.
and I don't see anything that jumps out at me. They're like, oh, I got to bet on that.
Yeah.
There's nothing. So it might be just this card here that's gonna be good, and the other two might be just slim pickings as far as betting opportunities go.
Yeah. I'm just opening it.
There's like matchups that are weird.
I'm just opening up best fight odds right now. The main thing I'm pumped about on this card is the price on Rosenstruck. Like I probably should bet that before people start betting it but like that I love that price. What is he plus 250 or
Yeah,
something?
that's big money.
Yeah, he's
Two
plus
forty.
235 on 5 dimes. So yeah, like that's you're getting 2.4 to 1 on like
What about
on a
Dom? Are you gonna bet on Dom?
no, I can't bet on Dominic Cruz. No.
Why is that? You been on
Yeah,
too long?
I can't rely on him. Like if this was like a few years ago, like when he was hot, like yeah, but I just don't know I don't know if he's healthy. If I knew 100% he was healthy, then I would bet on him.
What if he shows up on Friday like I'm in the best shape of
Yeah,
my
but
career?
everybody says that. Like he's lost some of his previous fights because he wasn't healthy. He's already said that. Like when he lost to Garbrandt, he said, or I thought I saw some little headline that he lost because he had like what do you fucking call that? Like Botox in his feet or some shit. Like so he wasn't 100.
Center for
Yeah,
Titus.
like I think he had Botox treatments or something to help
Oh,
it. But
okay.
like I think, and that's the thing. Like I don't feel like I lost so much betting on Cruz against Garbrandt, and
Yeah.
I just it's like that's not a
So
fight he's gonna lose. Like, he's just not. Like,
you got PTSD.
yeah. PTSD. I don't know. Like
We all get that
Cejudo
shit.
is dangerous, but like, how do you think that fight plays out? Like because Cruz's whole style is about being evasive, and
I think originally I was thinking like, oh, Cejudo's gonna win because he's been more
yeah,
active. He's been fighting. It's the wrestling factor that kind of made me thought it. But then I think over a 5 round stretch, it could end up being a split. But I feel like Cruz, he's a guy who likes to like set up patterns to where he's gonna try to get you to react to something, and once you react, he's gonna make you bite on the feint,
Yeah,
and then he'll go with with whatever you bite on. But for this fight, he's never. I don't think Cruz has ever fought somebody with the level of wrestling that Cejudo has. So I think like once you take away the factor that like, hey, I'm Dominic Cruz and I can either take you down or I can strike with you. You don't know what's gonna happen. But if you take away the wrestling aspect of this fight, and then Cejudo, like trying to take down Cejudo is gonna be like taking running into a
yeah,
brick
that's not
wall.
gonna
So
happen.
I, yeah, so I feel like Cruz is gonna be so now you kind of cut Cruz's skill, because Cruz's wrestling is really great. It's good. And but he's never fighting anybody like on this level of wrestling. So um, you know, I feel like it's gonna be. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. I'm not really sure. I'm guessing Cejudo's gonna, because and then here's another point too. Because Cruz, he likes to take people down like at the end of the round, or like try to score points with
Yeah,
it. But he's not gonna get the opportunity to try to score to try and score points on Henry Cejudo. At the end of rounds, trying to put a stamp on the fight and get the judges to like it
yeah,
and stuff. So if anything, Cejudo's gonna be the one taking him down if they ever clinch that.
yeah.
So it's gonna be tricky. And so if that's the case, then whether Dominic Cruz does dominate the stand up or not, or not dominate per se, but like if he starts like doing really slick shit on the feet, no matter what, it's not up to him to win the fight because it's up to the judges. There's three judges sitting down, and Dominic Cruz might think he would have won the fight, according to stats or whatever the fuck it is. It's not up to us. It's not up to them, the fighters. It's up to the judges to figure out who won the fight. And so we're as cappers, as bettors, we're not actually. So, sometimes it goes beyond betting who you think is going to win. It actually, you actually have to think like what do three judges think?
True. Where this is, you're
You
dropping
know?
some wisdom. Seriously, this is so true. And
Yeah,
it's a great example to talk about Cruz because Cruz is not going to finish, dude. I will be incredibly surprised if Cruz stubs or
yeah.
KOs him. So
Look,
Cruz.
look at all the shit that fucking Henry Cejudo ate from Marlon Moraes, and he still kept trucking
Yeah. So
forward.
what I'm saying is Cruz's only path to victory really is a decision, right? Like, so
Decision.
almost exclusively a decision. So just going to what you're saying,
Yeah,
right? It's like even if he does everything right and wins the fight, Cejudo is not a slouch. He's going to make the fight close. So even if Cruz wins, it's going to be somewhat close. Even if we say it's a
yeah,
robbery or whatever, but the judges still have to give it to Cruz. So that's scary.
yeah. The split decision, that's gonna be a really good one right there. Split
Yeah,
decision. Nice.
I think that fight is going to be
Got
close. And I
six, 700 at
going
least.
back to what
So
you were saying before about Cejudo, like let's say they're both really great wrestlers, but Cejudo has the better build for wrestling. Like he's built like a fire hydrant, whereas Cruz is kind of tall and
yeah,
skinny. So even if they were both the same level of wrestlers, like really good wrestlers, Cejudo would still be better because he has the right build. So that like what you're saying.
yeah,
So Cruz's strategy, it's almost he has to just like do his thing on the feet. Like he has to do what he did to TJ, just like move his feet, be weird, pop some jabs, move around. Like he has to be on his bike, I think, to make it work.
yeah. And Cruz, he doesn't come in with a game plan. Like he's prepared when he fights people. Like he's gonna punch you in the face, and then you're gonna think he's gonna strike with you, and then you try to swing. Cruz fights with his hands down, so you're gonna try to swing at his face, and then he goes and takes you
Yeah,
down, and then he goes and takes you down. Like, all right, this guy's gonna duck under my punches and take me down. And instead of him taking you down, he'll trick you and he'll punch you in the face. So he's kind of like a reactional fighter. Like he's trying to get you to bite on the feint, and then read you, and then go forth after that. There's no game plan for him. So
that's
that's
interesting.
that's
That's
the way he
interesting
fights.
that you don't think he
So
fights with a game plan, and you can hear his like when he does announcing, like you can tell like it's like what you said, like he's smart, like that's how he
he's
thinks.
reading the fight. He's reading
Yeah,
the
like
fight.
his fight IQ is very high. So that should be interesting.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I guess we're breaking down the fight when we shouldn't be. We should be saving it for next week. I mean, not next week, but we should
It's
be
all right.
saving it
It's all
for Friday.
right.
But it is what it is.
We're just hardcore fans, dude. We've been starved. We've been
Yeah,
starved,
I'm
man.
fucking
So now
starved,
that I
dude.
finally have some
I'm
fights to talk
foaming at the
about,
fucking
dude, I'm
mouth.
eating this shit up, man.
I'm foaming at the mouth. I'm chomping at the bit. I'm fucking right. So
Dude, it'd be fun. You know, it'd be fun, dude. When this smooths
what?
over a bit, is to go to Vegas and just watch the fights. Like, I don't even need to go to the arena. Like, just go to a bar and just watch the like.
Well, we can't go to the arena. We can't even go to the
No,
bars,
no, no,
bro.
no. I'm saying like when this is over, like when the whole virus shit is
Oh,
over, like
they live.
go make
Yeah,
some bets at the sports book, and then go to a tight spot where you
yeah,
can go watch the fights, and you still make a few bets on your phone if you want or whatever. Fuck, that'd be fun, bro.
yeah. I'm waiting for that. Hopefully, uh, yeah. I don't think they like currently the betting windows are open. I don't think it is, but it could be. I don't know.
Yeah,
But if it is, I might maybe I'll make a trip out there. If I'm sure the flights are really cheap from where I'm
but
at
I'm
too.
saying like
So if they
Vegas
do
doesn't
open
have
up,
to be 100%
but
open.
yeah,
All you need is a sports book and a good sports bar. That's
yeah.
all you
All I
need.
need is a sports book. I don't need nothing
You
else,
just want
baby.
a sports book. You're like, I'll take a
Shit.
sports book. You're like, I can bring my own booze, man. I can bring
Yeah,
my own booze.
I don't even. Yeah, I don't know. I don't need
Oh
nothing
man, I
else.
love it. That's some G
Man,
shit, man.